Hello and welcome to the first lecture that we're going to cover today on chapter 29. One of the first things I want to mention is please read the chapter, review this PowerPoint on your own, and then make sure that you do the questions at the end of the chapter and do the workbook questions, because that's going to really help you on the assignment. And the answers can be found in the chapter. I looked. So today's lecture is creating the digital image, and this first part of the lecture is going to focus on what is the nature of a digital image. So a digital image is made up of a matrix, and inside the matrix we have pixels and voxels that actually create the image that we see on the screen. So a picture is a pixel element and is essentially flat. Okay, the voxel is the 3D portion of that pixel, and so when you see on this Rubik's Cube, now you take a flat surface and now you can see it's 3D, okay? Don't worry about field of view, that's just the diameter of the reconstructed image, and we're going to talk about that later, and we'll focus on that in the CT class quite a bit more. And then bit depth is just going to be basically talking about the number of grays that are in the pixel. Okay, so what is a pixel? A pixel is the visual element, or it's basically the tiniest portion of that makes up the image. And so you have thousands upon millions of pixels that are actually creating the image. And that is something that is in everything digital. Everything digital has a matrix made up of pixels. Okay, so why is a pixel size important? Okay, so when you look at this image over here of the butterfly, okay, the smaller the pixels, the better the resolution. We all know that. Every time you buy something, they talk about the resolution and the pixel size. What is important to note is that both of these appear to be the same size matrix, but what determines the size of the matrix is not the length and the width, but the number of pixels inside. So this matrix it's a larger matrix because it has more pixels that are smaller. This is a smaller matrix because it doesn't have as many pixels. Okay, so a larger matrix will give you smaller pixels and better resolution. Okay, and that's what makes digital imaging, it's pixel limited, because it can only be as good as the number of pixels inside the matrix. So a 0.1 millimeter pixel is the equivalent to 6 to 8 line pairs per millimeter. And I know you learned about line pairs per millimeter as a measurement tool for resolution in George's class. Okay? The myth with digital imaging is that it has better spatial resolution or better detail. And that's a myth. When you compare it to film, it actually doesn't have as much detail. But what's a fact is that digital images have much better contrast. So you can see the differences between the tissue side by side compared to, so it gives the illusion of more detail. Okay, so pixel size matters, and again we're going to talk about this. These two matrices, okay, appear to be the same size, but they're not. This is a larger matrix because it has more pixels. This is a smaller matrix because it has larger pixels. Okay, so if you increase the matrix size, you decrease the pixel size, and that gives you better resolution. And so if you look at these two images, you can see larger matrix, smaller pixels, better resolution. So pixel size and resolution are directly proportional, which means that if you have smaller or more pixels, you're going to have better resolution. And matrix size and pixel count have an inverse relationship. So again, how are matrix sizes different? So when we're measuring these, you have a 32 by 32 matrix. It has only 1,000 pixels. Compared to one that's 512 by 512, which is used in CT, it has 262,144 pixels. And then when you look at digital imaging, DR, it has a 24 by 24 matrix, which means it has over 4 million pixels, which is why DR is so fantastic, because it has much better resolution compared to, say, nuclear medicine or ultrasound. But again, this is just demonstrating the size difference between the matrix. So they appear to have the same length and width, but this has fewer pixels, more and more. And so this is going to give you better detail.